Carl Jung uncovered something deeply unsettling about narcissists, something most people never anticipate. When they realize they can no longer control you, they don't simply walk away. Instead, they unleash one final destructive manipulation that can unravel years of healing in just weeks. If you don't recognize it in time, you'll fall directly into their trap. But before we expose this last psychological weapon, it's crucial to understand the mental warfare that leads up to it. Jung explained that a narcissist's deepest fear isn't rejection or abandonment, it's the moment when their target becomes mentally and emotionally stronger than them. Through his research on the shadow self, Jung found that narcissists maintain their illusion of superiority by projecting their own weaknesses onto others. But once you begin healing, when you start enforcing boundaries and stop playing into their control, their illusion begins to crack. Jung called this pivotal moment the power inversion crisis. What follows is disturbing. Narcissists aren't searching for love, they're looking for control. They seek someone whose energy they can drain, someone they can dominate. Jung revealed that these individuals function from a state of inflated ego, a fragile psychological condition in which they constantly need to assert their dominance to avoid facing their internal emptiness. When you are insecure, lost, or seeking validation, you serve their needs. You are their emotional supply, their source of control. But the moment you reclaim your power, the moment you stop needing their approval and trust yourself, you become a threat. That's when they reach for the psychological weapon Jung warned us about. Jung found that narcissists, when losing control, engage in something he called psychological projection warfare. It's more than gaslighting or playing the victim. It's a strategic attack on your growth, a final attempt to sabotage your process of becoming your true self. This manipulation begins with targeting your strengths. The same traits they once belittled you for lacking, they now attack you for having. Jung explained this reversal as a direct threat to their control. You'll hear things like, "You've changed and not in a good way. You used to be kind, now you're just selfish. Success has gone to your head. You think you're better than everyone?" But this isn't casual criticism. According to Jung's analysis, they're deliberately attacking the parts of you that you've worked hardest to heal. If you've learned to set boundaries, they'll call you cold. If you found your voice, they'll call you aggressive. If you've built confidence, they'll call you arrogant. Jung called this strength shaming, a tactic meant to make you feel ashamed of the very qualities that set you free. And if that doesn't work, they go even deeper. Jung discovered that when strength shaming fails, narcissists use what he called nostalgic manipulation. They start reminiscing about the old you, the version of yourself that was easier to control. "Remember when you used to laugh at my jokes? You were so much happier before all that self-help stuff. I miss who you used to be." This isn't a longing for who you truly are. It's a psychological trick to pull you back into old patterns. They're not missing you. They're missing the controllable version of you. If you're not careful, you'll start missing that version too. But there's one more manipulation Jung warned about, and it's the most dangerous of all: manufactured vulnerability. Jung observed that narcissists are masters at detecting your deepest compassion and turning it against you. Just when you're strongest, they suddenly become fragile. A crisis appears. It could be an illness, a financial collapse, family drama, or an emotional breakdown. But Jung made it clear this is often not coincidence. It's planned. Narcissists, Jung found, keep mental records of what makes you feel guilty, what triggers your caretaker instincts, and what pressures you into breaking your own boundaries. They exploit your empathy to derail your healing. The most unsettling part, according to Jung, narcissists often manufacture these crises. They create the problems they then beg you to solve. They might sabotage their own job, relationships, or health just to draw you back in. Why? Because it drags you into the role of rescuer and proves they still hold power over you. But it doesn't stop there. Jung discovered that narcissists don't merely want your help, they want you to sacrifice your growth for them. They'll ask you to compromise the exact boundaries you fought so hard to build. "I know you don't usually lend money, but this is different. I know you said you needed space, but I really need you right now. I know you're focusing on yourself, but can't you just help me this once?" Just this once is a test. A way to tear down the psychological walls you've built. They're not asking for help. They're asking you to prove they're still more important than your well-being. Jung warned that the danger of manufactured vulnerability is that it feels so real. The narcissist may genuinely be struggling, but they carefully choose which crisis to show you and when. They often have other people they could call, other resources they could use. But they come to you because they know you are the one most likely to abandon yourself to save them. So how do you protect yourself? According to Jung, the answer lies in practicing differentiated compassion. The ability to empathize with someone's pain without feeling responsible for fixing it. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." When a narcissist tries to drag you back even through crisis, you must ask yourself, is helping them helping me become who I truly am? Or is it pulling me away from that path? Jung's final insight about narcissists will change how you see every relationship. Carl Jung discovered that narcissists fear your strength because it reminds them of their own potential for growth potential. They've abandoned in favor of control and manipulation. When you refuse to shrink yourself to make them comfortable, you're not just setting a boundary, you're showing them what's possible when someone chooses authenticity over approval. And that's exactly why they'll fight so hard to pull you back down. But here's what Carl Jung wants you to remember. Every time you resist their manipulation, every time you maintain your boundaries despite their manufactured crisis, you're not just protecting yourself, you're proving that their power over you was always an illusion. Jung said that true strength isn't about being immune to manipulation, it's about recognizing it, naming it, and choosing your authentic self. Anyway, because at the end of the day, their desperation to control you is just proof of how powerful you've already become. The narcissist's final dirty trick only works if you forget who you are. But once you see it for what it is, a last, desperate attempt to reclaim control, you realize that their need to manipulate you is actually evidence of your freedom. Carl Jung discovered that the moment you stop being controllable is the moment you truly begin living. And no manufactured crisis, no matter how convincing, is worth trading that freedom away.